Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. The Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has been warning CEOs to stay out of politics, and he's actually been warning them about consequences. Folks, in this new episode of Ignition Time, I'll share some interesting details about what the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is up to. Let's start with this headline on your screen from Reuters. Stay out of politics. A Republican leader warns CEOs of consequences. The Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell lashed out at corporate America because there is a debate over the new voting law in Georgia, and he essentially said, hey, stay out of politics but continue to give me your money. Here's a comment from the Senate Minority Leader. My advice to the corporate CEOs of America is to stay out of politics. Don't pick sides in these big fights. He also says corporations will invite serious consequences if they become a vehicle for far left mobs to hijack our country from outside the constitutional border. That is what Mitch McConnell said. He also said, I found it completely discouraging to find a bunch of corporate CEOs getting in the middle of politics. There's definitely some hypocrisy here, and I'll actually show you a clip that highlights this hypocrisy. Here's the headline of an article from Bloomberg. McConnell now decries corporate politicking he once championed. Pretty interesting. And the Senate Minority Leader is essentially responding to the Georgia voter backlash, and he had long in the past pushed for unlimited corporate donations. So he did say, I'm not talking about political contributions, and he said it was quite stupid for corporations to jump in the middle of a highly controversial issue. Now, Bloomberg points out something very interesting. McConnell himself received over $4 million in individual contributions from corporate CEOs during his recent re-election campaigns, according to the Center for Responsive Politics. A super PAC that's closely aligned with him called the Senate Leadership Fund raised more than $36 million from corporate treasuries in the 2020 election cycle. And here's a comment from Sheila Krumholz, who's the executive director for the Center for Responsive Politics, and this is a group that studies campaign finance. Check out this quote. It is a totally mixed message and completely disingenuous for him to now deride corporate political involvement. Let's take a look at this segment with the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, where he says, my advice to corporate America, to corporate CEOs of America, is to stay out of politics. Let's roll the tape and hear from Mitch McConnell.
I'm not talking about political contributions. Most of them contribute to both sides. They have political action committees. That's fine. It's legal. It's appropriate. I support that. I'm talking about taking a position on a highly incendiary issue like this and punishing a community or a state because you don't like a particular law they passed. I just think it's stupid.
I guess it's absolutely okay when the corporate CEOs give you money, but when they essentially try and, as far as they're concerned, take a stand against something that they don't stand for, then it's quite interesting for a politician to call them out and say, hey, wait a minute, you need to stay in your lane except when it comes to political contributions. Super interesting. Now, there are other more vocal, more colorful Republicans, specifically the Republican senator from Kentucky, the one and only Rand Paul, who basically says, hey, if they boycott us, we can boycott them. Let's take a look at this segment with Rand Paul on Fox, where he says, if they want to boycott us, why don't we boycott them? That is the only thing that will teach them a lesson. Basically, Rand Paul is saying, hey, Republicans drink Coca-Cola too, and so we can stop doing that. In fact, there have been some Republicans who've asked for Coca-Cola to be removed from their establishments because Coca-Cola essentially spoke out against what's happening in Georgia. Let's take a look at the one and only Rand Paul and see what he had to say.
But my point is, if they want to boycott us, why don't we boycott them? This is the only thing that will teach them a lesson. If Coca-Cola wants to only operate in Democrat states and wants only Democrats to drink Coca-Cola, God love them. We'll see how well they do when half of the country quits drinking Coca-Cola, when half the country quits using Delta.
There's clearly a lot going on in the Republican Party, and one person who wanted to chime in on the Republican Party is the independent senator from Vermont, again, the one and only Bernie Sanders. I can tell you that Bernie is quite an interesting character. Here's what Bernie Sanders said of the Republican Party. What they are trying to do is appeal to the working class in terms of racial politics, in terms of homophobic politics, in terms of xenophobic politics. Wow, that is a zinger, that is a mic drop moment as far as Bernie Sanders is concerned. Whether you agree or disagree, that is entirely up to you. But first, let's roll the tape and hear what Bernie Sanders had to say about the state of the Republican Party and how they are trying to appeal to their base in this highly divisive climate that we are in right now. Let's roll the tape and hear from Bernie Sanders.
I think the Republican Party now, at least certain leaders of the party, are trying to pretend that they are a party of the working class. That's what they're trying to do. And obviously that is total nonsense. What they are trying to do is appeal to working class people in terms of racial politics, in terms of homophobic politics, in terms of xenophobic politics. And what our job is, which takes me to what we're trying to do with reconciliation here, is we have got to, the Democrats loudly and proudly have got to be the party of the working class of this country. We have got to be prepared, in fact, to take on the greed of corporate America.
I'm pretty sure that Mitch McConnell wouldn't agree. And it's quite likely that President Biden would agree. In fact, we're actually going to hear from the president's chief of staff, Ron Klain, in just a second. But let's go back to Mitch McConnell for a quick second. Mitch McConnell said, and he said this about the infrastructure package, I think we need to quit borrowing and quit spending and let the economy begin to take effect and lift us out of this pandemic. He said they, meaning the Democrats, seem to have absolutely no concern about the financial condition of our country. They want to tax, they want to spend, and they want to borrow. That is what Mitch McConnell said. And he also said this: Republicans drink Coca-Cola too, and we fly and we like baseball. So basically, Mitch McConnell is telling corporations, hey, stay out of divisive subjects, but continue to give us your money. Like I said, one person who's going to disagree with Mitch McConnell is President Biden. And now let's hear from the president's chief of staff, Ron Klain. Here's an interesting tweet from Ron Klain where he essentially celebrates an achievement. And Ron Klain writes, all 50 states, every adult, no more priorities or rules to check on the internet. Any adult can get vaccinated in any state as of April 19th. In the meantime, please help get a senior a shot. 75% are at least partly vaccinated. Let's get more done by the 19th of April. And now let's take a look at a segment with Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, where she announces that the Biden administration has set an April 19th deadline for states to make all adults eligible for the vaccine. Let's roll the tape and check this out. Folks, whether you want to take the vaccine or not is your decision. But this is about the ability, which didn't exist before, the ability for every adult in every state to be able to get the vaccine. I can tell you that I've taken both shots of the Pfizer vaccine. I feel great. And every member of my family has taken it as well, except the kids, of course. And so let's roll the tape and hear from Jen Psaki.
Announcement that the president will announce officially later this afternoon that we've reached 150 million shots in arms since entering government, and that by April 19th, all adult Americans will be eligible to get the vaccine. That doesn't mean they will get it that day. It means they can join the line that day if they have not already done that beforehand.
That's it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. Let me know what you think about the hypocrisy, if you will, from the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell as he warns corporate CEOs of consequences. Let me know what you think of the ever colorful comments from Rand Paul, and what you think about comments from the White House Chief of Staff and the White House Press Secretary as they begin to announce and sell the fact that every single one, every adult in every state can now start getting a vaccine in a few days' time. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. I would really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.